Welcome to Soul Infused Monday. Welcome, welcome. I'm excited that you're here every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm showing up here live for you. And today's topic is the beauty of boundaries and saying no. So if you're here, leave me a comment below. Say that you're here and see me. Leave a comment from where you're watching, and you're watching the replay because it always takes a few moments for people to jump in live. If you are watching the replay, leave a comment below as well so that I know that you were here. Okay. And if you're completely new to my show, I'm Sonia Bueno de la Torre, and I'm here to help you know, love, and trust yourself so you can live your most authentic, fulfilled, and meaningful life. So let's jump right in. And I just want to see if I am actually live. So Alyssa is here. Okay, do you see and hear me, Alyssa? Who else is jumping in? Okay, people are jumping in now. Okay, good. So this whole month was really all about you. What does it mean to be selfish? Why is it good for others to put yourself first? How to create a morning routine that sets you up for success. Like, it has been a lot about self-care, putting yourself first, all about you. And boundaries is a great and very important part of it. So I'm gonna dive deeper into this today, talk about how to set effective boundaries, why no is actually a good thing, and 3 ways to stop pleasing today. Okay, good, fantastic. So, I'm currently running my self-love bootcamp with 14 amazing women, and one of the things that come up for them, and in general when I work with people, is an issue about boundaries in many different versions of it. So I'm only going to scratch the surface here, and at the same time I give you as much as I can so that you can implement and look and dig a little deeper. And if you are someone that resonates with me, that resonates with my work, that you feel called to really do something more this year, one spot opened up to work with me one-on-one, because I only work with a very limited amount of people one-on-one. So if you're interested in digging a little deeper with me, finding out how that could even look like, leave me a comment below with, yes, I would like to know more, and I'm happy to connect with you. Okay, good. So how to set effective boundaries, why is that important, and why is pleasing actually very draining? So when I talk about boundaries, here's one thing. It's not about logically understanding it or knowing, but because for a lot of people, it's understand that setting a boundary is healthy, crucial, and important to not be constantly overwhelmed, constantly be collapsed, maybe even abused. Like, there's so many things, and then have your own space. It's a very healthy thing to do. Knowing it does not help you setting boundaries effectively, right? So who's chiming in? Oh, Pamela's here, Emily's here. Hi, hi, hi. Leave me a comment below if you see and hear me, and if you have a question specifically about boundaries. The most important piece I see, and that I do differently when it comes to boundaries, is to really understand it on a deeper energetical level. To set boundaries effectively, it's not so much what you say, that's important too, or how you say it. It's like really the energy behind it. So even when you do wanna set a boundary, and you think you are setting a boundary, but they're not respected, or you have a sense like no one is listening to you, or, oh my God, I have been doing this for so long, why am I still not able? If you let that all go and you tune in, it's like, okay, there's something in my energy that is not conveying it in a confident way that is actually respected. So in order to set an effective boundary, you gotta have a sense of feeling good about setting a boundary. You have to have confidence in how you're conveying a boundary, and also which words to use to set a boundary in order for it to be effective, right? I give you a very simple example, and I'm gonna exaggerate just to make a point, so that words alone doesn't do the trick. So if energetically I'm kind of like collapsed, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, how you would perceive the energy. So if my energy is more like this, kind of even a little bit scared to set a boundary, and I said, no, I don't want to do that, or it's not so good for me right now, and I kind of like, I'm in this energy, nobody really will take me very seriously or respect it. And versus I'm standing in myself, I'm confident, my energy is grounded, I'm centered, I'm connected, and I'm very clear and say, I'm not available for this, or no, I cannot do this, or this doesn't work for me today. However, I'm happy to do this for you tomorrow, or whatever it is. It's just the energy is more important. Does it make sense? Leave me a comment below. And Emily's saying, I'm still having a hard time setting effective energetic boundaries. Yeah. So what if you rephrase it? It's like, I'm still learning to get better. I love that already much better. Instead of focusing how hard it is, I am getting better. I'm still getting better, or I'm still learning is even better already. And Alyssa is saying, yeah, and you guys are not alone. Boundaries is it's a skill to learn that takes time, and because it is so profound and so important, it's also not the easiest thing, and it takes time. In the meanwhile, I consider myself very good in boundaries, and I am still learning. You know, I come from total pleasing, not being able to even say a word if something didn't feel comfortable for me, not daring to say no to something, always drained completely. Like, it's just really even tough to imagine where I come from. And it took me a lot of training, a lot of time, a lot of years. And every time you get better, you get better, you get better. And then you go into mastery, right? So let go of the thought of, oh my God, I've been doing this for so long, or oh, it's so hard. And tune it around and see, okay, I've been working on this for a long time. This is great. I'm committed to it. I am better than I was, because you are, and I know you both, and I know you both are, and anyone else has been working on it. And then I get to get better at it. What's my next level, right? So in order to set effective boundaries, it's also about letting go of the idea of it having to be perfect or a certain way or in a certain time. And you get to keep practicing. And the one thing it's super important to add to how to set them effectively is not so much only focusing on how to do it, like, how am I doing this? What am I saying? How am I approaching it? That's outside. It's like, who am I being inside? It's the deeper inner work. How confident am I feeling? What beliefs are still running that are holding me back from really standing in my power and saying no, or setting boundaries? Like, what's still in me that gets to open up, to heal, to expand, and for me to have that confidence and that worthiness and that, I call it soul connection, where you know your truth, so that you sense, so that it's the inner peace that's so important. The more you work on yourself deep inside, the better you also get with that. However, without knowing how to manage it energetically, that means that will be missing. So you want to do both. You want to do the deeper inner work and learning from an energetical perspective how to actually do that, right? And if you want to know more about this, I teach this a lot in my one-on-one work and also in my group work. So if you want to dig deeper, if this is something you really want to master over time, leave a comment below with, yes, I would like to, or I would like to know more, and I'm happy to tell you how that could look like. So, and why is a no actually a good thing? And I'm saying this because I was there in the past, and most of my clients come and they feel guilty, they feel insecure, they don't know how to say no, they're afraid of being rejected, they're afraid of being judged, they feel guilty of being selfish and all of that, right? And if you want to go deeper into why that's a good thing for others, go to my show where I shared why everybody wins when you put yourself on first place. That was June 24th. That was a very good show when it comes to really why is it beneficial for others. But I want to tap into that real quick. Why is a no a good thing, right? For several reasons. When you say yes to something that you don't want to do, you say no to yourself, but that's not a good thing. So why is it a good thing to say no on the outside if it's a real no for you? It's because you're saying yes to yourself. And saying yes to yourself will keep you empowered, will keep you balanced, will keep you healthy, will keep you authentic. It's a good thing because it keeps you authentic as well. And no is also a good thing because it empowers others. Because often we do things for others even though they can actually do it themselves. Often as moms, we do that with kids or with our spouses even, or if you have employees. Like you saying no to certain things, saying yes to yourself, letting them figure it out themselves empowers them as well. It is good because it's really a good way to take care of yourself, to get your energy level balanced so that you don't get drained. It's also very good to get more respect, because the more you're able to set boundaries in an effective way, in a good, respectful, authentic way, you also get more respect from others. Because, and you might notice that. I mean, think of someone that is always pleasing, that is always doing everything. They usually have like a little bit of a collapsed and victim energy. And often you get put more on your plate. People will ask you more and more and more because they know you will just do it. So it's also a very good way of not being taken advantage of. Okay, just to mention a few. That's why no is a good thing. Okay, and let me know if this is landing, if you have any questions. I'm looking at I always love to connect with you here and see what you're up to and what, I'm getting better at setting boundaries. Love it, Emily. Yes. Thank you for saying that we are better, Sonia. I need to hear that. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, totally. Deeper work is shame and guilt, I think. Yes, absolutely. So, and again, if you have specific questions, let me know. And I want to give you, and it's so simple sometimes, you know, we overcomplicate things. We constantly overcomplicate things. First is to simply acknowledge that it's something that we get to learn, because we usually don't learn it in a very effective way from our parents because they didn't learn it. And then, oh, that's, by the way, another really good thing to say no, especially when you have kids. You are a role model. If you are not able to set healthy boundaries and say no in an effective way, your kids won't learn it from you either, right? And it's okay, you know, like you are being here, you're already breaking the chain, by the way, right? Because most of our parents didn't do the deeper inner work, right? So it's a good thing. Let me get a sip of water. And if this is landing and resonating for you, regardless if you're live or on the replay, click the like and love button, because then I know this is landing. Okay. 3 ways to stop pleasing. Stop pleasing is important because if you keep pleasing, you will always be drained. You will not come from an authentic place, and you will keep saying no to yourself, right? So there's a huge difference between pleasing all the time and genuinely be helpful and supporting people, right? So there's no right or wrong, like oh, once I'm stopping pleasing, I'm gonna be just a rude bitch or something, right? No, you still can be very loving, very generous, very supporting. I am very generous, I'm very supportive, and I'm very loving. And at the same time, I'm also very clear, and I respect my time and my values. So I'm very good at setting boundaries and having both. And that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be rude. However, the one other thing that means is like, you gotta stop worrying so much about what other people think of you, right? So 3 ways of stopping pleasing today is, first of all, make a decision that you want to. Make a decision that you want to be more authentically coming from a place where you actually check in. Is this a yes or a no? So simply the decision will start the process, okay? Let go of it having to be perfect, and let go of the pressure that it has to happen overnight. Take it 1 day at a time and make that decision. So then once you make the decision, another way of doing that, and I mention it right now, you take a breath You even can close your eyes and you check inside, where is my decision right now coming from? Is it coming out of fear and therefore I want to please someone and I'm afraid? So that's my driving force. Or is this a genuine, yes, I'm happy to do this, yes, I'm able to do that, yes, I want to do that. And simply identifying this deep inside of you will make a huge difference, and you can practice that from today. And one other thing that you can support that starting today is actually sharing with others that you do that. Because you also want to, if you are someone, and I'm curious, who in here is actually a pleaser? Like, my gosh, I was the biggest pleaser in the world. So there's no judgment or shame around it. Put it out there, right? Like, who in here is a pleaser? And pleaser, I mean like that you constantly give, you constantly say, you're constantly trying to be nice, you constantly try to please, you're very worried about what other people think of you. So when you are a person like that and you want to stop that, you also, especially with the people close to you, you want to express that you're working on it, right? Because generally, it's not that we are going to be super graceful right away. I was such a mess that when I started to, when I wanted to stop pleasing, right? And I was always smiling and I was always nice, you know, and everybody knew me like that. And at some point I was like, you know, that's not, I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm working on myself. I was very self-destructive in many ways because of this balance. And so when I transitioned, I first transitioned a little bit to the other edge. Like, here I was super pleasing, super nice, super smiley all the time. And I just had to go a little bit to the other side. For me, I'm not saying that you got to do that, but it's just sharing my experience. And I wasn't really good at setting boundaries. I was kind of like, you know, like, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I reacted. I was a little rude. I would, like, you know, whatever we consider. And I was aware of that. And it was challenging for me that people would perceive me that way. At the same time, I didn't have the skill yet. I had to go a little bit to the other side. And it took me a while to get to the balance, to be more graceful with it. So be okay not being graceful. And express it with the people that are important to you, the people that share the path with you, or the people that are just around you. So decide, check in where the decision is coming from, and express as a, hey, listen, I'm actually working on being less of a pleaser. I'm sharing this so that you can support me. And at the same time, I'm also sharing this. So if I am a little bit rough or rude, or you think like, well, what's going on with her? She always says yes, and now she says no. You know why. Okay, let me know if this makes sense, and what are you getting? What are you hearing me say? So tune in for a moment, give me feedback. Out of everything I shared today, what is the one most valuable thing you're actually getting out of this today? And leave me a comment below right now, and I'm gonna go through your comments here in the next 2 minutes. I have 2 more minutes, and see if you have any questions. So, and if you're on the replay, take a moment and tune in. What is the most valuable thing you're getting out of this today that will make a difference for you, or that you will actually implement? Okay, so let me go here. Yes, it makes sense. Thank you. Yes, great. There's guilt, a lot of guilt right now. Yeah, guilt. I hear you, Emily. I hear you. Sonia, I know that no one can put me on a guilt trip without me allowing it, question mark. But how do I address it when that seems to be someone's intention? Okay, let me see if I got this. It's a good question. I just want to make sure I got it right. So are you asking me how to deal with someone intentionally wants to put you on a guilt trip? Okay, so here's the good news. It doesn't matter if it's intentionally or not, because most people do it, they're not even aware of it. If they do it intentionally, on purpose, then you not necessarily deal differently with it, because yeah, that's the first thing that come up. It doesn't make a difference. If someone puts you, you know, on a guilt trip, if you realize that, you are already ahead of the game. If you realize, I give you an example. I get this, like, parents are the great, and like moms are great, and any mom that is here, if you get triggered by what I say, let me tell you that this doesn't come from any place of judgment or shame. It's just a fact. And I love my mother more than ever, and yet that's very good in putting us into guilt, right? That's just very good at it because we are all conditioned like that. So I remember in the past when that happened to me, I felt really bad about it. And when you start to differentiate what's yours, what's theirs, and where it's coming from, and you don't get triggered, you react in a certain way. So Emily, coming back to your question, if you feel that someone is putting you on a guilt trip on purpose, here's what I would do. I would call it out. I would be very honest and direct about it. And it's like, if that's the case, if you're very sure it's intentionally, and it's like, hey, I hear you, and here's what I see. People, haven't experienced it in a long time. But I would call it out. I would say, I'm not so sure if you're aware of it, but what you're doing right now is really giving me the idea. So you want to take responsibilities. Like, I have the impression, because you don't know if that's really true. You don't know if it's their intention, really. Maybe we just read into it. So my impression right now is that you want to put me on a guilt trip. And that doesn't really work for me. I don't appreciate that. So I just want to call it out. If that's something that works for you, and then you speak about it. That's one. And the other piece, Emily, is, or for anyone that resonates with this, is to keep doing, I know you're doing that, but deeper in the work to get less triggered by it. I hear this unintentionally. It's really, most of it is unaware. If I would listen to it, my clients sometimes put me into a guilt trip, my parents, friends, or anyone that, it happens all the time. We do it. I've done it in the past. The other thing, how you deal with it, is that you don't react to it. You stay centered, and you take that piece of manipulation, guilt, outside the equation, and you keep directing it to what's real. However, you can only do that if you don't get triggered, because then you are hooked into the guilt. Hope this helps, Emily. Otherwise, please ask me a follow-up question. That was a really great question. Okay, so we are on the top of the hour. If you have any additional questions, please leave them below, and I will always be happy to come back to you later. One more here real quick. I feel abandonment when I say no to people. I get that I abandon myself. It's very tricky because it becomes a worthiness. Yeah, absolutely. It's not a question, but yes, very good awareness. Same issue here for Melissa. Yes. Saying no is learning to value yourself. Great takeaway. The most valuable thing for Emily is I am getting better. Oh my gosh, yeah, you are so much better. I love that insight, Emily. Melissa is saying, it's still difficult, still working on basic self-care. Yeah, and Melissa, it's great to start on it and working on basic self-care. That's the foundation. I feel good about that you're doing that. And go back to this month's shows where I really talk more about the morning routine, self-care, how to put yourself first. So be proud of you actually working on that. That's fantastic. Brenda, how I would love to know how I spell your name right, pronounce your name right. So maybe I butchered it. She says, I'm going to watch replay. Yes, I said today I need to say no. Perfect timing. Definitely watch the replay. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my community. Thank you for being here. And come back on Monday again. This month, July, is still all about you, about boundaries, about energies, about self-care, about saying no, about being selfish, about being loving. And next week, I am most likely going to talk a little bit deeper also around what does it actually mean to absorb other people's energies, because that's a boundary issue too. But this month is really all about you, self-care, and taking really good care of yourself so that you can be happy, balanced, authentic, and you can also give authentically and make a difference in the world. Okay, thank you so much for being here today. Remember, I have one spot open right now. If you resonate with me, if you are ready to dig deeper this year and to really exploring yourself, becoming free, to learn how to love, trust, and respect yourself, leave a comment below that, yes, I would like to know more, and I'm happy to connect with you. Okay, have a fantastic Monday. I love you. I appreciate you, and come back next Monday for a new episode of Soul Infused Monday.